All right, welcome everyone to the Pittsburgh Land Bank board meeting for Friday, October 18th, 2024. I'm Bobby Wilson. I'm the councilman for District 1, and at this meeting, I'm the chair of the Land Bank. And our first order of business is to let everyone know that earlier, before this meeting, today we had the Land Bank board met immediately prior to this meeting for an executive session. The topics were real estate, property transfers, along with a briefing proposed by the URA cooperation agreement on today's agenda. And with that leaves us to go into roll call. And Sally, will you please take the roll?
Councilman Bobby Wilson.
Here.
Councilman Daniel Lavelle.
Here.
Councilman Kahari Mosley. Wanda Wilson.
Present.
Jennifer Cash Wade. Here. Kirk Berkeley.
I'm here.
Steve Mazza. Tamara Dudikovich. And Tammy Thompson. Oh, and I believe we have Tammy online, so let's just make sure we've got her tech functioning before we. Oh, you know what? I'm actually not seeing her attendees. Okay.
She said she was kicked out.
Oh, strange. Okay. Okay, Alex, if you could just know to watch for board member Tammy Thompson so we can get her back in when she reaccesses that link. Shoot.
Yeah, sure. She was online but disappeared. I will keep an eye on her.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. That moves us into public comment. Our public comment, want to make sure that everyone knows the rules here of what's going to take place. So please use the raise hand function, the bottom of the menu. And if you wish to speak during public comment, please use that raise hand function. We'll have it at both times of the meeting two times in the meeting, at the first part of the meeting, and then also at the end. And to begin, when you start speaking, please state your name, neighborhood, or organization affiliation, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. Sally, will you, I'm sorry, I'm saying Sally, but that's Sally Stademan, the Pittsburgh Land Bank manager. She'll be walking us through the meeting here. Sally, could you please check the list of people that may have their hand raised?
Yes, I can see, I think we'll start with Mohawk. And Mohawk, I apologize. I'm realizing I've never said your last name out loud. So Mohawk Chauhan. If you're prepared to speak.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, you're a little soft, but we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, Sally. Hi, everyone. Wada, good to see you.
Good to see you, Mohawk.
Please begin. Typically, board members don't respond. So.
Okay, I'm so sorry. My name is Mohawk Chauhan. I'm from Hilltop Alliance, and we are here for 219 Reeford Street. That one of the houses that we are requesting from Pittsburgh Land Bank. The way the property is, it fits well in the portfolio that we are putting together, and yeah, the capital stack is it fits in the overall portfolio for this in the next year. So we are requesting 219 Reeford Street, and if we can get the board approval on that, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohawk. I'll just pause for a moment. If there are any other attendees that would like to make comment, please raise your hand. Okay, all right, seeing no raised hands, I will send it back to you, Chair.
Thank you. That moves us on to the chairman's report. We have a couple items. One is, we need to make a motion for the 2024 September board meeting minutes. And do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you all. And with that, can we have all in favor? Say aye, and anyone abstaining, please state that, or voting no.
Aye.
This is Tammy Thompson. I abstained as I was not in the last board meeting.
Okay, any no's? All right, motion passes. That moves us on to very great next part of our chairman's report, which is to introduce Miana Connor, our new land bank staff member. Sally, if you want to do the initial presentation, that'd be great, and then we could pass it to Miana. That'd be great.
Yes, Miana is sitting right here to my left. So she's been with, is this week 3 that we're in here? And she joins us from the Hill District Federal Credit Union, and has years of experience working in closings and real estate transactions and working with the community, and that she would be a great fit for the land bank. And we're excited to have her here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
We're excited to have you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
There's a lot of work to do, so appreciate you taking the opportunity to join us in this effort.
We are so glad.
All right. If there's nothing further with that, we'll move on to the treasurer's report, and member, sorry, I always get this wrong. Director Wilson, would you like to walk us through that?
Sure, thank you. So we have a brief treasurer's report this month. We can look at our financial statements. So I think the first one you'll see there on the next slide is the income statement. There we go. So this shows, oh, sorry, if we can go back to the income statement. So this is the activity booked for September, and then the total for the year in that column. To the right of that, I would note, my only note really here again is that we're only seeing 1/4 of staff costs booked in our financials so far this year. And we are, we've ended the third quarter, but our staff costs that are booked into our financial statements are only 1/4. So we're really not seeing the full picture of staff costs in our financials. So I think that's an important note for the board. Something, I will continue to try to work with staff to get that addressed so that we can have up-to-date financials. And if we go to, the next one is our balance sheet, and, showing our healthy balance sheet here. I don't have any issues to point out to you on this. Then we have the fund balances, which just show how it's not a balance sheet. It just shows the way we're drawing down funds that are restricted from certain funding sources. So that's what this shows us. And then finally, we don't have any action to approve any other specific expenses. There were expenses for property acquisitions and outside legal costs. Those were already approved by the board. We don't have any other expenses to approve this month. We expect to have some of those to approve in October expenses that we'll approve next board meeting. So I will make a motion to accept the September 2024 financial report.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Please report by saying aye.
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 Any opposed or abstentions? Great, motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Wanda. Appreciate that. Let's move on to, we have staff updates. I'll turn it over to Sally.
Thank you, Chair. To start, I just wanted to kind of read into the record and review for the board. These are our completed, total completed sales. We didn't have any new sales to add this month. We have several pending sales, though, that we hope to close on by the end of the year. I do want to point out that we've been working with Habitat for Humanity on 2 lots. Actually, I think might be 3 lots in Homewood, and they went in to do the soil testing and determined that because of the condition of the ground, it would add the cost would be so high they are not able to build there. So this sale here is no longer proceeding, but we do have 2 additional Habitat sales that we're working on. So, and these here are at are some of our first properties that we are working on clearing title. We're hoping those will have final action on those in the coming weeks. So we expect these to really jump ahead here in our sales. Additional properties here also working on clearing the title. The majority of these have gone through our objection process as well. Almost everything here. Again, January sales are we are in the process of quieting the title, with the exception of the Garden Cafe sale there in the corner. That one is we're weeks away from closing on that sale. These have not yet arrived in the land bank's inventory. They're still outstanding, waiting for a resolution of the conservatorship that had been filed. And then here is a list of properties that arrived in August. So we're just getting ready to get those quiet title actions started. And then you can see that since our last board meeting, those additional 2 Bedford Avenue row homes have come into our inventory. And we have met with the adjoining property owners around those Bedford Avenue row houses to discuss the PHDC project in partnership with Choice Neighborhoods on that block. Very exciting. Here are properties that were approved by the board in July. These have all gone before City Council and received a vote in favor of the transfer. That legislation's been signed by the mayor. So we are just awaiting deeds from the city to acquire these properties here. Of course, with the exception of this URA transfer, those do not go before City Council. And that transfer will occur when City of Bridges is a little bit further along in their grant application process. And then finally, properties that were approved at last month's board meeting, these will go before City Council Standing Committee on October 30th, with the exception, of course, of that URA transfer, where we are just working on a closing process. Okay. We did receive some inquiries regarding people who are interested in purchasing property that is destined to go to be sold to PHDC. There were 2 or 3 properties in particular that, we got maybe 2 or 3 calls on, and we explained the properties would be available for sale, but after they're sold to PHDC and rehab by PHDC. So we did not receive enough objections for any of those properties to require an additional community meeting. And then recall, we have our donation agreement properties from where we've cleared the title on properties remaining in the property reserve and the city's inventory. We're continuing to work with these groups to clear out or find, repurpose some of these parcels that they've identified. But for the most part, all title has been cleared. I think at this point, about 3/4 of that inventory has been sold out to the CDC. And then, of course, we pulled 3 properties from this list into our pilot residential rehab program. Next, we have a quick update on our pilot residential rehab program. These properties on the left, of course, have arrived in our inventory. I am still working with our contractors to get the properties cleaned out. And we still have pending quiet title actions on the 2 of the properties in Spring Garden. So we're diligently working to get those up and listed so we can begin taking applications. And then, of course, we have these 2 uptown properties that were just approved by City Council that we hope to bring into the inventory in the coming months. But we do have information on that sales program on our website. And of course, if there's anyone interested in applying to purchase a home, just a quick reminder of those requirements of the buyer types that we're looking for. These homes are reserved for owner occupants who are committing to live in that house for a minimum of 5 years. And that buyer needs to demonstrate proof of financing and have an approved rehab plan. And pass our qualified buyer check, which entails being up to date on your taxes and not owning any property with code violations. Next, we have a quick update from our Reclaiming Vacant Properties conference that we attended last week. Yes, last week, man. So myself and 4 board members traveled to St. Louis to attend this biannual conference. I found it, I mean, really incredibly informative and just a really nice, almost like a very nice level set to be able to connect with land banks and experts around the country and to talk about these very specific issues that we face as land banks. They had a really helpful session on giving updates on Tyler versus Hennepin County, which was the Supreme Court ruling that affects our acquisition through tax foreclosure. And there's several states and counties across the US that have already implemented new laws to address that. So we're in ongoing discussions with our legal counsel around that process. Talking about middle neighborhoods and the roles that land banks play there in preserving those middle neighborhoods. Probably one of my favorites was really diving into tax enforcement systems and how those need to operate correctly in order to remove liabilities so that end users are able to access these vacant and abandoned properties. I would highly recommend checking out this video link here, which is a really lovely 5-minute video that St. Louis County put together in order to lobby to update laws in St. Louis County to improve their tax foreclosure system so that they were properly providing notice and therefore removing liabilities for their future buyers. And of course, our board member, Tammy Thompson, presented at the conference. That was a really lovely session as well. So I'll just pause there if any other board members wanted to share highlights from their sessions. It's a lot of dense information.
Yeah, thanks, Sally. I'll just point out the one. Well, I just want to mention that the one you're talking about that made sure that the county of St. Louis was that they passed that law at the state to make sure they were, someone who bought the property didn't have, they were given proper notice and everything that you went through, to explain that, but just also that it was a bipartisan effort and there was some comedic, little banter there back and forth that happened. That was interesting just because, just brought home just how much this is a bipartisan effort to reclaim, vacant and abandoned property across the nation. So always enjoy that since, you know, I'm on the political side, but then also to see St. Louis, you know, sat through a session where they explained what they're doing with their ARPA dollars, which isn't wildly different from what we're doing, but they do use police powers to repair properties. And I think that's something that, you know, I know that it's been explored before, but looking to have that conversation again. So yeah, all in all, good. Just nice to be in one place where everyone is to talk about vacant abandoned property. All right, anyone else? Going once, going twice.
Oh yeah, Jennifer's got, no, go ahead. I will also mention, the mayor's office also sent a representative, and the Department of Public Works, the Assistant Director of DPW was also at this conference, as well as the Tricog Land Bank. So we had a really nice Pittsburgh contingency there to represent. All right.
All right, well,
Sorry, we got two more quick things for staffing. Sorry, Chairman.
Yep.
Next, I wanted to make a quick announcement. We've got two informational sessions coming up next week. I'm presenting with S&T Bank on Thursday, October 24th, 5:30 to 7:30 at the East Liberty Library. So this is an informational session about specifically construction loans, mortgage rehab products, and how those complement our residential rehab program. So I'll be sure to send out more information to the board. You can share with your networks. So yeah, we're looking forward to kind of talking about what that program is going to look like, how people access that property that we're listing for sale. And then Tuesday, it's not an open meeting, but I'm presenting with the Tricog Land Bank at the Neighborhood Allies Real Estate Co-Empowerment Series. It's a similar kind of 10-week program for those interested to learn on how to access and purchase property and develop property. Finally, just wanted to share a quick reminder. The end of the year gets very busy for the Pittsburgh Land Bank. At our December board meeting, we will be presenting our annual report as well as our 2025 budget. We also have a December City Council budget presentation. We get a whole hour just for the Pittsburgh Land Bank. And a quick reminder, our next board meeting is November 8th. It's coming up a little more quickly because we bumped this meeting from a week because of the conference. All right, with that, back to you, Chair.
Hey, we have two action items, and so we have two action items looking at A, what is the approval of a new cooperation agreement for services and facilities within the URA, Urban Redevelopment Authority. And Sally, would you walk us through this?
Yes, so Chair, I guess typically we read the motion into the record and then discussion and a vote.
Yeah, if you could read the motion. If you
Okay.
could read the motion, we'll see if we can have. I know we're missing our staff member from before, but if you could just please read this.
Yeah, no problem. Authorization to enter into an administrative agreement for services and facilities with the Urban Redevelopment Authority of Pittsburgh for reimbursement, PLB staff salaries, and URA staff hours spent on services and project execution.
Is there a motion? Motion to approve? I think we want to have discussion with this, but motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
Right. So let's go to discussion.
So I guess my quick update is, we have the URA board has voted to authorize the URA to enter into this agreement. I do not have a final agreement. We have not shared out an agreement with board members. And we're still working to kind of get the final details on how the numbers will be calculated. Is where we're at with this agreement. So we could, so the chairman will sign this, we'll have to sign this agreement. So there would be additional time to discuss. It's kind of at the discretion of the board. In which order you'd like to approve.
Yeah, there was a previous discussion about seeing documents, so and more information. So, does anyone want to speak to that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd be happy to.
Great.
Yeah, I'd love to see this maybe held until our next meeting so that we have time to read the documents and then take an action once we've read them.
I agree.
Great. Is there a motion to hold until next board meeting? Do we have?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right. All in favor for approximately like a month hold until our next board meeting, which would be in November.
Aye.
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 Aye. Any abstentions or no's? All right. Is 1 month hold. And moving on to resolution number 100. Sally?
Authorization for the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire 219 Reeford Street, block 33K, lot 126 in the 30th ward from the city of Pittsburgh, and to prepare the property for sale at a cost not to exceed 12 ARPA funds, and authorization to convey the same property to the Hilltop Alliance, contingent on certification of the treasurer's sale that will bring the property into the city's inventory.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion?
Yes, Chair, just a brief overview. The Hilltop Alliance would like to include this property in an upcoming fair application. So we're looking for board approval today so that we can write that letter of support, site control letter for the Hilltop Alliance to include in that application. It is due November 15th. There's unfortunately been some delays in bringing this property into the city's inventory, but we do feel confident that this will come into the city's inventory and to the Pittsburgh Land Bank well before, spring of next year.
Great. Anyone else? Anyone have any questions for what we're doing here for Sally? All right, all in favor, please report by saying aye.
Aye.
Any no's? Any abstentions?
I'll abstain as chair.
Okay, we have one abstention.
Yeah.
Make a note of that. And without anything further, motion passes. Resolution number 900, number 100 passes. That moves us on to legislative updates. Sally, I'll turn back over to you with these wonderful slides.
So Chairman Wilson and I presented to the school board the evening of October 7th. I think it was a public meeting, so you could probably go see that presentation on YouTube somewhere. And the meeting went very well. We had a really nice conversation with the school district. And we also have exchanged drafts with the city of Pittsburgh as well regarding this agreement.
Yeah, it was very, very nice because, one thing that we're able to get to was really to talk to the board in a public meeting just to present and for them to have some questions just about what we've all been discussing for quite some time. So it's been, it's been kind of a long road to get to where we're at, but actually it was quite short whenever we mentioned how the land bank had started in 2014, and just in the past few years we've really been getting our ducks in a row here to make everything work. So they were appreciative of that, but then also just really interested to see the actual ICA. And so I know that the land bank and the city of Pittsburgh are working through that. They both have drafts currently, and those talks will be taking place. so that there is one document that's sent over to the school board and the county, so that there can be further discussion with that and negotiations. But I mean, the main point that they really appreciated and wanted to see was that there is, 2 board seats that will be contingent on the passage of the of the ICA agreement. So once that's signed, that there are 2 board seats that are activated. One's adding one seat for the school board and 1 seat for the county. And so it always helps the conversation to go into a meeting whenever there is, when you're talking about solving these issues as a team instead of just what we're doing for you. So they'll be part of that once that's signed. So looking forward to that teamwork. Anything further on that? I can't hear if someone's saying something. I can't.
Yes. Do we have an anticipated date?
Still on our end, we can't hear it. So I just want to make sure the public can.
Oh no, yeah, Director Cashway was just asking if we have an anticipated date where we will have this signed. It's a little too early to put. I think I'm hoping for the end of the year. And I think it's just going to depend on how quickly we're able to go back and forth on that initial draft. And the school district of the county may be ready to send this back right away. They may want to have a lot of conversations. So it's really hard to say for sure at this point. So yeah, I hate to, but we will definitely keep the board, the public updated as we move along here.
I do want to, Sally, thank you for this, because this is, I know this is a lot to keep moving forward, but this is imperative. I know I don't have to tell you that, but this is just, it's so important. I want the public to hear how important it is that this agreement gets signed. It literally is going to determine how effective the land bank can be. So thank you for your work moving this forward. I'm looking forward to hearing some positive news, hopefully by the end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your comments. Okay. With that, and I don't have any updates here on this legislation that had been introduced by Senators Casey and Capito. This did not, I'm not sure that this proceeded any further than introduction this year at this point. So back to you, Chairman.
All right, that moves us into our second public comment that takes place every time at the end of our meeting. Please use if you'd like to speak, please use the hand raise function in the bottom menu. If you wish to speak during public comment. As a reminder, public comment, I already mentioned that is taken in the beginning and end. We're at the end of the meeting. So when you begin, please state your name, neighborhood, and your organization or affiliation, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
All right, I don't see any raised hands from our attendees. Just pause for a second here if anyone wanted to make comment. Okay, Chairman, it does not appear we have any raised hands from attendees today.
Okay, that moves us to adjourning the meeting. And well, let's just mention that our next, looking at the schedule here at the bottom, the next meeting is scheduled to take place on November 8th. So for the public, that will happen at November 8th, 1 o'clock on that Friday. And looking forward to seeing you all then. With that, we have a motion to adjourn. All right, all in favor?
Hi.
Hi.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Enjoy your weekend.